This week's project is a continuation from last week's project of the punch wall mount. I've picked up a set of brad point drills, and well, 7 of them hanging around loose wasn't a good idea. So this week we're going to make a wall mount that fits them nicely. Now I'm working in Fusion 360, but I don't mean these to be a tutorial of Fusion 360. I just want to document what I'm doing and advertise that I'm really enjoying this product. So I've done the drill mount in advance here. I'm just opening it up to show you. I've learned all these nice, neat functions of spinning things around and making them in 3D. And the object here is all I've relieved as much from the inside. In this design, I'm trying to take advantage of the 3D printing process, and that is the shell thickness versus the infill. So what we'll do is we'll make this transparent so we can have a look through. And as you can see here, that I've removed a lot of material to give me more shell thickness. The infill in this project is going to be printed at 20%. So that isn't very strong, but the shell is at least 3 layers thick, and that's pretty strong. So we've got lots of shells here, and with a minimum of infill, and a lot of just clear voids. So it should take as long to print as if it were 20% infill, but would have a much higher level of strength in it. That's what I'm hoping to achieve here. Now, when I started this project, I used the parameters, and I predefined everything. So all of the fractional drill sizes were converted to inches and put on this list. And then the drill spacing to evenly spaced drills of different diameters. I wrote this little formula here where I took the radius of 2 adjacent drills plus a uniform drill space, and that allowed me to evenly space the drills and to change it evenly if needed be during the design. The next part of the project is the type, and since this was the most type I've done on a single Fusion 360 process, I had to get my head around how the type works, but I found a great tutorial by Greene that got me over the problem I was having, and that was that in my sketches, I wasn't putting down a background, a box to put my sketch in to anchor my type in. And so every piece of type element would come as a separate part and it made a huge mess. But if you put a box down first and put all your type in a box, it works much easier. I've also used the constraining tools on the type boxes. It's not a great typographical tool, but it does allow you to line things. At this point, the project is more or less finished, and I'm looking at it, and I've decided that it could use a little more detail, and I've decided that I was going to put a ricing stripe across that blank area in the top, give it some interest. And to do the racing stripe, I created a thin wedge of material, and I removed the profile of the box from it. And then along the edge of the profile, I made a fillet so that it was rounded. And we'll just flip that around, have a look at it. You can see that it's rounded. And then I took the piece that I created and I slid it over the box and then duplicated it so I could have 2 and arrange them to look like a racing stripe. And then when they were in the right position, I used the combine tool and remove, and I have a really nice looks like a little racing stripe around there, and I was quite happy with how that works. On the completed project, I used some silver Sharpie to make the type stand out. Well, thank you for following along, and don't forget that all of my 3D files can be found on Thingiverse.